Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into round number 8 of the 2018 Race Tech Nationals, an MX Simulator Professional Series brought to you by Race Factory Gaming. We're at Millville, ladies and gentlemen. And, oh, that's a nice picture of that camera. Going around the going around the track here a little bit. We got the 250 class coming up here first. And we actually have no consolation race tonight, interestingly enough. So we're actually just going to be going straight into the motos. We're going to have lineup check here in a couple of seconds. I assume they're going to grab a restart and get us going. And we'll find out what's going to happen in this 250 class. What we do know about this 250 class is your fastest qualifier is your points leader and runaway championship leader by that. Jack Haley on a 222.4. Only other runner in the 222s was Isaiah Dickerson, excuse me, on a 222.8. Everybody else 224 back, including Walter Gebhardt, Phil Bull, Devin Ryan, Shawn Klein, Colby Eaglin, Tyler Lang, Ben Seberg, and Harry White inside of the top 10. But they're still all chasing Jack Haley. And we're going to see if Haley keeps his fantastic streak alive going into the motos here. Haley has won every overall this year, so far. Or, well, maybe he has. He's definitely not lost points in any moto this year, or any race, I should say. Sits on 333 points to Shawn Klein's 250, so he's looking at a hefty 83-point lead in the championship, or a 78-point lead in the championship, I should say. No, what am I talking about? That's 83 points. Quick maths. So good. So we're going to get this warm-up lap underway. These guys are going to go around for a little bit of a parade lap roozies. And then 30 minutes plus 2 laps will await 31 of the best 250 class riders in North America. And really, all over the world. We're going to have quite a few other racers involved in this one tonight, not just North American racers. And of course, first thing we are going to do in this show is pick our Versus PC one to watch. VersusPC.com. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want computer parts, components, or full custom gaming built PCs, I, myself here at Stereo Systems, the one and only Kellen J. Brower, would recommend heading to VersusPC.com. They will get you hooked up. They got me hooked up this year. They're doing a huge help with the broadcasting of these nationals and of Supercross earlier this year. So please check out Versus PC, and we're going to check out a Versus PC one to watch, and going through the field, we'll find somebody to take a look at tonight. And I am going to go ahead and say that that somebody is going to be ooh, Tony Spinelli's out here. That's okay, I don't want him to be our Versus PC one to watch. I don't have his skins. Let's just say James Cohen. I like James Cohen, professional motocross racer out of New York State. In real life, that is, not just in this game. Dude hauls the mail in real life, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he is on a 125, which is pretty disastrous here in the hills of Millville. Sandy conditions and up and downs all arounds. A 125 is usually not going to cut it. Well, we'll take a look at James Cohen as our Versus PC one to watch as these guys come to the line for the first 30-minute plus 2-lap race of the evening here. Live on Stereo Systems TV, it is the Millville National. It is 250 Moto number 1, and we're going to see what happens here. Is it going to be Haley? Is it going to be Klein? Or will another contender step up? Let's go racing at Millville. It's a land rush into turn 1. Haley's got a good start. The 34 of Devin Ryan leads them in, and Haley is right behind him, his teammate. It is Devin Ryan, Jack Haley, Phil Bull is also right up there. Dickerson and Phil Bull making slight contact. I see Craig Leak in the 11 also right at the sharp end, but Devin Ryan leads his teammate. They're going to go bar to bar over this tabletop, nearly contacting each other. These early moments of the race, they're trying to get settled in, trying not to go down. or else they would lose way too much time. And look at this, Haley already going for the lead on his teammate down the inside of the Millville Sand Whoops. He's going to stick to that inside line as Ryan tries to sweep all the way around the outside. It does not work. Jack Haley goes to the point at Millville, and the 57 red-plated relax attire machine is off to the front here. See if he can't run away with this thing like he's been so accustomed to this year. Oh, Dickerson slides it down in the background and was able to corral it together, but he might lose a spot to Craig Leak. Yeah, Leak just gets by. Ben Seberg's also coming by as they hit up over the catapult and up to the top of the hill. It actually looks like there might be a change to the lead again. Or no, Devin Ryan went down. Devin Ryan is on the deck, and as mentioned, you do not want to fall early in these races. He goes from second back to maybe 11th, and he just got contacted. Who was that went into him? Walter Gebhardt. Looks like a terrible track entry by Devin Ryan has cost Walter Gebhardt as he goes down. Here's our versus PC1 to watch, James Cohen. And I was wrong. He is actually on a 250F, but he is buried here early. Back here with Gebhardt, who we just saw go down. And it's all kicking off as they shoot down Mount Martin for the first time. And Jack Haley already solidifying a nice lead out front. So Haley's looking to get away and get away fast. At this point, probably going to wrap up the title quite early as he blows the berm at the bottom of the hill, though. And that's going to allow second fastest qualifier, Isaiah Dickerson, who's bringing Ben Seberg with him, to get right up behind Jack Haley here. This is going to be a good fight as they cross the line to complete lap number 1. It is Jack Haley, 57, out front. The 65 of Dickerson following closely in tow with the 55 of Ben Seberg right behind him. And it looks like the 71 of Tyler Lang is right there in the background as Haley blows the berm after the finish line jump. And there goes Dickerson out to the race lead coming through the first corner. New leader at Millville, and it is a 65 MV Films ride, Isaiah Dickerson. Haley gonna try to go back to work as Dickerson throws it down into these Millville monster whoops. 250Fs are gonna have a much tougher time through these as they develop, as opposed to the 450 class, which we'll see a little bit later on this evening. If you're new to Race Tech Nationals and watching this for the first time, we run 250 Moto 1 and 2 successively with a little 5-minute break in between because obviously these guys don't really necessarily get fatigued. Maybe get a little thumb pump here and there, but 5-minute break is enough to cure that, and they're right back out again. So we give the 450 guys an opportunity to not have to hang around for both of these motos. We re-grab UIDs and have 450 Moto 1 and 2 run successively after the 250 motos are done. So we'll be seeing the 450 guys in probably an hour and a half or so. Right now it's all about this 250 class and a tremendous battle out front as Jack Haley is giving Isaiah Dickerson everything he can handle. Ben Seberg holding it in tight right behind him as they head back up Mount Martin. Another spot where these 250Fs are going to struggle. Talked about the traction being a little bit down at Millville as opposed to some of our other races we have during the season, due to it being a little bit of a sandy topsoil in real life. Hard base, but sand topsoil. And they kind of play with the traction to mimic that to the best of their abilities to the track creators. And look at this fight for the lead, though. Dickerson trying to protect his insides as Haley loses the front wheel and is just able to corral it together. So didn't actually lose too much time and all that, but that almost turned into a crash. And fall-off crashes in MX Simulator are not something you want to deal with. Look at that line from Haley. He rips around the outside. He's going to try to shoot down the inside here. Top of the hill, gets to that inside line, but Dickerson around the outside is going to hold it on. Haley pulls alongside, but Dickerson still blocks. And up and over the finish line, it's still Dickerson leading, with Haley just giving him everything he wants for this lead. And Haley down the inside shows him a wheel, but Dickerson able to fight back around the outside, hang on to the race lead, and they're definitely gapping third place rider Ben Seberg by a good amount now, as the pace is high at the front with the track not yet rutted in. These guys are going for it.
Ben Seberg back in 8th, count.
Now Ben Seberg has
Devin Ryan in
crashed.
third now.
Has crashed out of third as Nathan Zaworski checks in. How are you doing tonight, Nate?
All right.
All right, he's going to get ready for some 450 action a little bit later on. Right now, it's all about these 250F guys, though. Man, look at Dickerson flying back and forth across the track, carrying his momentum really well, and has actually opened up a nice little cushion here over Jack Haley. Haley's not breathing down his neck like he has been this last lap or so. Look at that line from Haley, seat bouncing around the inside of the corner, able to hop all the rough stuff. It's just been one of those years in this 250 class where somebody, one guy, steps up and is pretty dang hard to beat. This isn't the first time we've seen it. And Haley has been pretty much unstoppable. But Isaiah Dickerson is going to try to stop him here at Millville. Still early goings as we head back up Mount Martin. So far, really good battle for the race lead. Nothing in it between your two front runners. And the speeds down Mount Martin as fast as they're going to get as that bottom of the hill starts to get real roughed out. As the moto goes on, we'll see guys slowing down earlier. So you could argue that the pace
you said earlier you haven't ridden the track yet, but since this is so smooth right now, you can just go this pin down Mount Martin right now. It's crazy in the beginning of the races how fast you can go down there.
Absolutely, and these guys are taking full advantage of that as Haley's got this line working. He tries to shoot around the outside, and Dickerson blocked the line, so then Haley came back across the track. Dickerson doing a little bit of swerving to keep him behind him, keep the momentum down, but Haley is trying everything he can as they come back over the finish line again. Tremendous battle. Wonder how long Haley waits, or is he going to get tired of some of Dickerson's antics there? Nothing really wrong with it, but definitely did chop Haley off to kill the momentum going up the hill.
Oh, Devin Ryan is third, just around the fastest lap of the race, but went down.
Devin Ryan has been fantastic this year, but unfortunately, as you just mentioned, hits the deck. 10-second lead for both of our leaders over Phil Bull, who is now up to third. Oh, Dickerson loses the front wheel, and there goes Haley into the race lead. And just like that, one small mistake from Dickerson has cost him track position as Haley goes to the front. And we'll see if Dickerson can stick with the 57 here. Saw Haley when he was leading also making some mistakes. Definitely doesn't look as smooth as he was. Up the big uphill triple here at the top. You can hear these guys on these 250F machines just wringing the necks. Every horsepower, every little inch of traction they can find on these bikes, they're going for it here as we're on board with Isaiah Dickerson. Get a first-person perspective how steep the uphill of Mount Martin is and then how fast these guys attack it coming down the hill. You'll just have a listen here how long they keep it on. I mean, fourth gear all the way until maybe 200 feet from the corner or less. Just flying down the hills. A little bit of a hitch there for Dickerson, but he is keeping Haley close. Does not want to let your points leader get away, as the two of them have definitely separated themselves from the rest of the field. Now Dickerson looks like he got that corner real clean at the bottom of the hill. .228.5 for Dickerson, 227 flat for Jack Haley, who with some clear air now has remarked his fastest lap of the race. Dickerson does not look like he wants to let him go. Remember, these are also your two fastest qualifiers and the only runners that were able to get into the 222 range. Everybody else is 224 on back, so we definitely expect these two to be the fastest on track. And fortunately for our viewing pleasure, they have ended up 1 and 2 here early. Here just 4th and 5th gear just shifting back and forth. Dickerson getting everything he can through those whoops, but losing touch with Haley, who seems like he has found a little bit extra here. Go back to 3rd, we find Devin Ryan, who, as you mentioned, Nate, was in that position, crashed out of it, and has found his way back into it, ahead of Ben Seberg and Phil Bull, who both were also in 3rd place at one point earlier in this moto. So the 3 of them will continue their little battle. Further on back, Hunter Porch. He's holding down 6th right now. Pretty good ride for the Prestige Worldwide number 381 machine. Somewhat all alone, but has Trent Shepard trying to close up onto him. Matthias Janis has Tyler Lang breathing down his neck. Heading towards the catapult here, and oh, Lang got a huge kick. Doesn't matter though, still gonna throw nice little stees for the audience. Just trying to keep Janis in sight. Meanwhile, TM Factory Racing rider Harry White is trying to chase them down. Craig Leake's got some pressure from Daniel Batchlett. Colby Eagland here on the 891 is trying to run with them as well. Then Tony Spinelli. Good to see Spin Dog back out here at the racing. Former 250 Supercross winner, Ivan Medina. And then, finally, we see Shawn Klein, 2nd in the championship standings entering tonight. We talked about it at the beginning, 83 points down on Haley. And not looking good with the 57 out front, and Klein buried back here as he tries to run down Ivan Medina up Mount Martin. He has Walter Gebhardt right behind him as well. Yeah, these guys just flying down the hill. Very interested to see what that looks like later on as Medina hits the deck, so it's already catching a couple guys out. So we work our way back up front. And see, we have a change for the lead. We have lost Jack Haley. He must have gone down. So Isaiah Dickerson suddenly kind of all alone out front. Haley ends up about equidistant behind Dickerson as he is ahead of his teammate Devin Ryan. Nate, you talked about Devin Ryan putting down the hot laps, 2:27.6 last time by, 5 seconds down on his teammate, who did a 2:36. So very clearly a either very large mistake,
crash, probably.
Yeah, probably a fall-off crash. And Dickerson only able to put down a 2:30, so even he had some troubles himself. That's going to play into the hands of Devin Ryan as he tries to close in on these guys. Ben Seberg also coming with the 34 machine, keeping him in sights. You can see Phil Bull just off in the distance there as they work their way through the rollers. Up over the catapult, and Seberg is now starting to apply that pressure. 34 of Devin Ryan. This is your battle for 3rd, and both of them are hoping that it could be a battle up front. Not for long away. We are just creeping up to the halfway mark, about a minute away from it here in this moto, and these guys are only maybe 8 seconds behind your race leader right now. So it is not just your 2 fastest qualifiers that are making this track work. This battle between Seberg and Ryan definitely shows that the pace of the track is high, and these guys are just as capable of pushing it as our leaders are. So Seberg will continue to work on Devin Ryan. Meanwhile, Jack Haley is starting to eye up Isaiah Dickerson out front again. And just at the 15-minute mark, we are there. And it is time for a Race Tech run through the field. A Race Tech suspension and engines. Racetech.com will get you guys covered and set up. If you want a whole suspension revalve, or want those patented gold valves, or if you want to just send your engine in and they'll get you sorted, Race Tech will take care of you. learning from the best in the business over at Race Tech when you go over there and take the schools with Paul Thied. Our Race Tech run through the field has Isaiah Dickerson leading here at Millville, and this is about to tighten up real fast here, so let's try to run through it. Jack Haley sits in second. Ben Seberg is running in third now, so he's gotten around Devin Ryan, who's in fourth. Phil Bull up to fifth right behind him. Tyler Lang in sixth. Matthias Janis seventh. Craig Leak eighth. Colby Eaglin ninth. Hunter Porch is in 10th. Harry White 11th. Shawn Klein 12th. Daniel Batchelor 13th. Walter Gebhardt 14th. Trent Shepard is in 15th. 16th for Garrett Hollenbeck. Tony Spinelli back to 17th. Alana Solis is in 18th. Jacob Hubbard is in 19th. And Ivan Medina is in our final points-paying position right now. Just a couple seconds ahead of Dylan Gatlin and Ash Deering. It's been a Race Tech run through the field. Racetech.com. Check them out. Back up front for this battle, though. And, oh, just as we come up here, Haley has made a huge mistake in the off-camber coming up Mount Martin, which is about the last spot you want to make a mistake on these 250Fs because you have the whole hill to think about your mistake at the bottom. As Seberg also made a mistake. He is down at the bottom of Mount Martin. Looks like he was able to get going a little bit cleaner than Haley and has the momentum flowing back up the hill, but either way, definitely has separated our top three quite a bit here. 3.5 second lead now for Dickerson, but they've opened it up. 14 seconds between Jack Haley and Ben Seberg now. Man, look
Something else I noticed about that. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Mount Martin coming back down is in previous years, at least in my opinion. So right when you come off the top, you go down and there's sort of a flat spot. There's another drop off. This year, that second drop off really isn't that steep, so it's almost the same slope as the top part. So there's really not that large of a difference between them, and I think that's part of what helps you be able to just go that fast down there.
You're absolutely right. That drop off, not being one that pitches you down the hill, it's kind of tapered where you can kind of float it if you go fast enough, but really you never leave the ground. Whereas, as you mentioned in previous years, it was almost like you would launch if you went too fast.
Right, it was
drop off.
It was very steep. You definitely had to slow down, otherwise you would just jump to the corner.
So definitely playing into it here, and we'll see how it plays into the way the road shapes up at the bottom of the hill with guys kind of charging into the bottom of it instead of landing in pockets. It's definitely presented us with a great battle for the lead this entire moto, it seems, as Jack Haley is all of a sudden fought his way right up to Isaiah Dickerson for the lead, and the battle is on. 18.5 minutes in to moto number 1 of the 250 class at Millville. Dickerson leads. Haley is in second. Up to the top of the hill they go. Shoot down to this off-camber where Haley made a mistake one lap ago. We'll see if he is able to keep it together this time, and he does, and it looks like he got it really clean as he is all over Dickerson for the lead. Up Mount Martin, Dickerson trying to scrub it down, cases the triple, and that is all Haley needs to pull alongside and take the lead up to the top of Mount Martin, and Dickerson is almost going down right there. What a save, as he definitely got kicked at the top of the hill and was sliding all the way in, but here's what we were talking about, that kind of tapered roller coming down Mount Martin. These guys never really leave the ground. So change for the lead once again. Haley now out front. Seberg sits in third behind Dickerson. Devin Ryan has his teammate Tyler Lang closing up. So once again, Relax Attire has been dominating this outdoor campaign, not only with Jack Haley, but their squadron of yellow assassins, it seems, are just always running up front. So Lang trying to put the pressure onto his teammate Devin Ryan. This is your battle for fourth right here. And not too far behind them is Phil Bull. Craig Leak is trying to keep him honest. Matthias Janis and Colby Eagland. Looks like Gebhardt has now found his way into the top 10, running 2:28s now. So an early crash is definitely going to be something he looks back on as a bit of a frustration aspect, as he definitely has the speed to run with our leaders. but has been fighting through traffic this whole way, up to 10th now. Second in the championship standings. Entering tonight, though, Shawn Klein can only muster in 11th, as we have now crested 2/3 race distance.
Speaking of lap times, back in third you have Ben Seberg, who, let's say he was 1.2 seconds faster than anyone on track, but last lap Jack Haley ran at 2:26.2, so it's only 0.4 seconds faster than anyone on the track now.
Taking a look back at our versus PC1 to watch, we find James Cohen of the Spin C machine ride, 27th place, holding it down for New York State Motocross, and actually finds himself in a battle with Jacob Warden. So even outside of the points in these races, it is still all to play for. These guys are going for it back here as they head to the catapult. And Cohen tries to throw sideways. Warden does get sideways, and Cohen almost goes down. Great action all throughout the field. But up front has been where it is at, as we have another change for the lead. Dickerson has gotten back around Haley, and the fight is on again. So Haley, does he bide his time this time? It doesn't look like it. He is putting the attack to Isaiah Dickerson. Hops out of the inside rut. He's trying some different lines. That outside line is way out there, and there is not a rut to be used. So he has lost a little bit of time there to the 65. Rail around this outside rut and head back up the hill. That rut seems absolutely prime right now. Everybody hitting it, and it's just like one nice looping rut that shoots these guys back up the hill like a slingshot. But speaking of slingshot, here comes Jack Haley trying to pull alongside Dickerson. It looks like the same photo about 8 to 12 minutes ago. These guys were in the same position. And here we go. Haley's looking inside. Now he's going to cross over. Elects to pull right next to him. Has a drive down the inside and gets the spot. But look at Dickerson cutting back underneath. A great move from the 65. A power move at that. Knew where Haley was going. Elected to check up in the corner and get a smoother drive. So Haley gonna try to go back to the drawing board. He's gonna shoot down the inside and throw it down and make a nice, although rather aggressive pass, and Dickerson trying to get back to the inside was not able to do it. So Haley goes back to the lead, but just as we say that, he makes another mistake, entering the whoops, and Dickerson pulls back alongside, goes right back through, and here we go again. These guys have just been cat and mousing this whole race, and it's starting to look a little bit frisky out there. I don't think these two are playing as nice as they were early in the race. So Dickerson's going to try to hang on from these relentless attacks from Jack Haley, who seems as if he can kind of pull him back at will. But every time he gets out front, seems to make that crucial mistake to cough it back up. And Dickerson's hoping that he'll cough it up just that one extra time too many. Right now, Dickerson has some breathing room. Oh, and Haley almost gets involved with a back marker that looks as though it's the 256 of Jarrett Gaskew as they're going around him.
Interesting watching the chat. It seems like some people planning a
Dickerson.
Haley almost was that Dickerson? I was watching Haley. He almost ran to a lap or two.
Well, Dickerson got all out of shape in that inside rut. And look at that. Jack Haley goes back to the lead again. We still got 5 minutes plus 2 laps to go here. Anything can happen. And it almost certainly has in this moto between these two. Every time Haley seems to get out front, something strange happens. A fall-off crash, a tip over. As you just mentioned, Nate, he gets involved with lappers. It is far from over. Dickerson gonna try to go back to work.
Seems like watching chat, people are almost, I don't want to say complaining, but you're noticing lots of ruts are forming in the main lines, but there's not much rough. Which, usually at Millville, it gets pretty rough.
Yeah, it's a good point. It definitely looks like those outside lines that these guys are railing around are staying pretty smooth, which is definitely not what we've seen the last couple of rounds. It's definitely been a lot more choppy than anything, and you're absolutely on the point about Millville having that hard base underneath that loamy top. Always seems to create some real gnarly chop. Not seeing it as choppy here in the MX Simulator version. Kind of quietly waiting for anything to happen between our leaders back here. Ben Seberg is only about 6 seconds off of Dickerson and has been clawing his way up as they tool around with each other up front. We have about 5, 6 maybe lappers in the way of Haley coming up here. One of them moving out of the way very nicely there. 266 machine. Very nicely done for that rider. Haley is throwing caution to the wind, it seems, as Dickerson just made a small mistake of his own. And this is what I'm talking about. Look at Seberg. He is definitely within range, especially if there's a fall-off crash for either of our leaders.
There's definitely some rough coming down there, but not huge, as I would expect from 27 minutes in, but you definitely have to let off a little bit earlier.
No, and it looks like 27 minutes in here, it definitely looks like that there's kind of just one main line forming all around the track. I'm not seeing many corners with options, per se, which is a little bit of a disappointment, but it's definitely kept the racing close.
Well, if you're just watching Ben Seberg there, but he just had an off-track excursion.
Yeah. It's like we always say, Nate, he's doing his best Mitch Butler impression. He's just enduro-manning it over there. Would anybody like some pound cake?
Oh, classic Butler.
I'll tell you what, though, this thing is far from over. Haley has been weaving through lap traffic, and although he now boasts a 5-second lead on Dickerson, Ben Seberg is coming. And he is merely 2 seconds now behind Dickerson, just got to 3 here. Did a 2:25.8 as his best lap, so the pace is definitely there. 2:29.9 last time by doesn't suggest that, but he is going to try to make this thing interesting, especially with lappers getting into the mix. Through the Millville Monster Whoops. On board with Seberg as he is about to come up on that group of lappers that Haley and Dickerson have already made their way through. Haley's about to finally hit the point where he's not going to be in too many lappers. He's getting around Batchlet here. He's got one more in front of him and then a gap. And we might be coming to the white flag next time by. Ooh, Haley didn't get the best drive up Mount Martin here. Still able to pull it together, but look at Batchlet up the inside. Had a much better drive. Just got a really good comparison of the different speeds up the hill there. It definitely looks like Dickerson was able to close in just a little bit.
Ooh.
Oh, Haley is down. He is down, and there's more lappers right in front of him that are in the way. 134 is Gatlin, and 378 back there was Batchlet that were just getting up from a crash together, and Haley is almost through the front door of that motorcycle. And here comes Dickerson, and look at that. Ben Seberg is right there as well. We have got to get Gatlin out of the way, though. 134, he is trying to move off to the side, but he kind of just ended up in the main line again. And now he's getting back on right in front of Seberg, who is just putting the pedal to the metal and up and over the line. It is just past the 30-minute mark, so 2 laps to go at Millville. 3 guys in it within a shot to win this moto. And it is on. Oh, Seberg, a huge mistake. That's going to cost him some precious time. Time that he can't afford. Can Haley hang on, trying to pick up another win? So we head into the whoops. 2 more laps of this. Talking about that thumb pump, I'll tell you what. If there's anything that does it to you, it's the Millville whoops, because there's a lot of moving going on through that.
Bike humping.
Yeah. I'd say Southwick and Millville were probably the 2 thumb pumpiest tracks that I can remember. So man, Dickerson is definitely closing up to Haley, but Seberg, oh, Seberg
Kills himself.
over the bars. Bummer deal, the 55 goes down, and he really looked like he could have had a shot to win this moto, but it is not over. If these 2 get together and perhaps have a fall-off crash, Seberg could be a huge benefactor here. Those mentioning in chat that there's no such thing as thumb pump, I mean, it's kind of a joke, but I mean, I've definitely had it before, where if you play sim a lot, your thumb gets kind of stiff. Not necessarily, I wouldn't call it pump, because pump is where like your arms just turn into grenades, but I mean, you've had that before, right, Nate?
Oh yeah.
Man, this is not over. Dickerson has got the fire in his belly to go after the 57 of Haley, and Haley's trying some adventurous lines. Saw him cut way across the inside of the corner there from an outside. He's trying to keep his momentum up. And the white flag is now waving. 1 lap to go at Millville.
Oh.
It is Haley, it is Dickerson, it is a battle for the win, and 25 crisp points on the line for these guys.
Dickerson over that finish line would have been OTB if Alex Efforts didn't change those bail collisions earlier this year. He's went through a bail out the finish line.
A lucky moment for sure as Harry White moves out of the way of Isaiah Dickerson. Here we go through the sand whoops. It seems like Dickerson was really fast that last lap, but Haley's kind of evened it out, maybe picked up the pace just a little bit again, and Dickerson absolutely hanging it out here. Seberg just made another mistake in the background, so it's looking like a lost cause for the 55 here. But the 57 and the 65 are still going at it. Haley works around Alana Solis, who's also trying to move out of the way as Dickerson comes on through. You can see Haley kind of hopping over a couple really tall bumps there in the middle of that uphill. Man, oh man, Dickerson is trying. Give a shout out to Devin Davis in chat, who reminded me that this would be Isaiah Dickerson's first outdoor moto win if he can get it. And he looks like he is trying his hardest for it. A small mistake at the top of the hill. Didn't lose a ton of time, but it could have cost him a golden opportunity to maybe send it down the inside of Haley in these final corners. On board with Dickerson here for the final couple corners. We have about 6 corners remaining at Millville. 250 Moto 1 is going to come down to these 2 guys. Who wants it the most? Look at Dickerson. He is pushing the envelope, trying everything he can, low-lining some of these jumps. Oh, he might be close enough to do something here. Will he get aggressive? Will he do something that might be considered over the top to win this thing? Down the hill one last time. Jack Haley into the final corner, and out of the final corner is your winner in 250 Moto number 1 at Millville.
Isaiah missed the finish line.
Dickerson misses the finish line, but he should, well, I don't know, he jumped pretty far past it. He's going to try to get going and go backwards to get to it, but Seberg might get there. We'll see. Dickerson comes over the line in second backwards. Seberg ends up in third. What a wild finish here. Devin Ryan is going to be able to pick up a fourth here. Tyler Lang going to settle in for fifth. How about Walter Gebhardt? Little golf clap for the 31 here, who was buried early on after a crash. Got together with, I think it was actually Devin Ryan who re-entered the track pretty poorly. Oh, and then Gebhardt jumps off the berm and gets into Dickerson, who was sitting on the side of the track. Fortunately for Gebhardt, though, he's got plenty of time, as that is Jack Gatland, I believe, on the TMFR machine that he is putting a lap down. So 6th place there for Gebhardt. Phil Bull has got Matthias Janis breathing down his neck. But Phil Bull will hang on to 7th, Janis 8th. Craig Leak should end up 9th. Yeah, Colby Eaglin is not very close to him.
Got Shawn Klein back in 13th here. It's only 8/10 behind 12th.
Oh man, not a good moto at all for Shawn Klein, who just needs anything right to go his way to stay in this championship hunt. And looks like he's gonna lose out to Porch. Third in the standings is Devin Ryan, but he is 44 points behind Klein, and Klein is 83 points behind Haley. So Hunter Porch looks like he is going to hold off Shawn Klein. Ahead of them was Garrett Hollenbeck and Colby Eagland. Klein in the final corner will end up crossing the line 13th. Solid moto for Trent Shepard, who's going to pick up a 14th here, ever so quietly. And Ash Deering will pick up a 15th. And that is where they end up. Looks like Tony Spinelli maybe got a spot on Harry White on cuts. And Matthias Janis got a spot on Phil Bull. That would be 7th on cuts. And nothing changed up front. So Jack Haley wins 250 Moto number 1 officially here at Millville. And it's another Relax-A-Tire Suzuki domination. 3 of the top 5 spots go to this Relax-A-Tire team. And Haley stays right at the sharp end of the field, where he ended up last week. All right, we have a little bit of a 5-minute break coming up here for Moto number 2. I'm gonna have a little restart here. This is where I usually like to open it up to questions in the chat. If you guys have any questions that I can answer for you, whatever it is, I'll try my best. If it's a better question suited for Nate Guy Zaworski, who's much more up to date on the technical side of MX Simulator, I can shoot it his way as well. Well, we got 5 minutes to kill, so it's always fun to chat with the chat.
Is there anything, no, I'm gonna get some.
All right. Healthy Iceberg asks, are you and Hannah married? Why, yes. I am married to a woman named Hannah. This is my first time playing Millville, so this is gonna look horrible, but try my bestest. And just playing it now, you can definitely feel the drag the track has. Feels just like your stereotypical sand track. Yep. McBarzy wants to know, how long does it take to make these tracks? Well, that's kind of a loaded question, because it really gets kind of sent around. There's maybe, I would say in total, probably 4 or 5 people maybe that end up working on the track before it gets released. You have, I think Checkers made the base for this track. So the base is the terrain, you know, what I'm riding on right now is the terrain of the track, and that was, I think, created by Checkers. Then you have Race Carlin, who does decals, Alex Efforts, who does objects. Occasionally, Stephen Barrington will jump in and help out on a couple things, and then Maxime Tissone, or Johan Mayer, whichever gets to it. Usually it's Tissone, though. Will take the track, package it all up, and get it prepared for release. That whole process can take anywhere from, if they already have a base for the track, like total hours working, maybe like 25, I would say. But it can go as long as, like, I'm sure people, you know, they probably put total hours together, like 75, 80 total hours into tracks before, especially ones that they had no base for, so they had to get the height map and then start from scratch, basically. These tracks are not the quickest things to make, that's for sure. Let's see. Ask Nate if he'll read a bedtime story. I can ask when he gets back. No problem, Christian Johns. Happy to accept a friend request on Facebook. Checker's on his way to Loretta's? He might be. Doesn't practice start on Saturday? Or this Saturday, right? Could be. Can I please make a motocross version of the best Supercross race ever? Yes, but I'm going to probably go through Season 1 of Supercross is Weird before I start Season 1 of Motocross is Weird. And there's still, I have 3 more episodes planned of Supercross is Weird. And the second episode is not far off from being done, I promise. Am I still faster than Nathan Zaworski? I don't know, Nate, what do you think? Devin Davis wants to know, if I went full tryhard and raced a national, where do I think I would finish? Well, I'm assuming you think I'm racing the 450 class. Full tryhard. So I'd go back to like my 2013 days when I would put in like 12 to 15 hours on a track after it was released on a Monday for like a Wednesday race, for example. I think that I could still finish like 6th, maybe. Maybe. More than likely outside of the top 10, but like a good moto, I think I could get a 6th. Have I ever played Pipe by VMX Streets? If so, what do you think of it? I have not. I really do want to, though. I've seen gameplays of it, and it looks fun. Can you eat a whole potato raw in 2 minutes or less? I don't know. I don't know if I want to try. Raw potatoes sound daunting. Sound dry. Pick Ben Seberg for versus PC1 to watch. Well, I mean, I like to pick a versus PC1 to watch that would finish further back, because then we get to see somebody we don't normally see out front, like Seberg was the last moto, so I'll try to find somebody. Maybe Ash Deering is a good one to pick, because he finished 15th, we didn't see much of him. Let's see. What lap times are needed to even have a shot at qualifying in the 250 class? I can give you an exact answer. And the answer to that question is anytime, probably, because there wasn't enough qualifiers. Yeah, 37 people qualified, so if you want to go by the flat cutoff time in 36, it was a 2:47.2. But if I'm being real, if all the 250 riders were here, it would probably be somewhere in like the 2:30, 2:32 range. But there's not many 250 riders here tonight, so... Do I have the Santa rider model downloaded? You know, I did at one point. I don't think I do anymore, though. Sorry to say. Who do I think got the 450 win tonight? Who do you think got the 450 win? I don't know who's going to win 450s tonight. I do not race pro. I just stream. And I think that is all the questions. Let me see. Am I missing anything? Nope, think I'm good. All right, so this is a warm-up lap, aka the parade lap for 250 moto number 2. Jack Haley's going to look to repeat. The two men behind him are going to look to take him down, including Ben Seberg as well. And I'm going to go ahead and go with Mr. Ash Deering versus PC One to watch. We saw James Cohen in the first moto. VersusPC.com. Check him out. And we'll check out Ash Deering. Check up on him throughout the race and see what's going on. See how he's doing. See if he's hanging in there and maybe getting inside of the top 15 like he was in the first moto. But it is time. 250 moto number 2 here at Millville. Are you guys ready? Is Nate ready? Are you ready? Because I'm ready. It's the 250 motor number 2 here at Millville. Can Haley repeat? Can Dickerson take him down? Can Seberg stay on 2 wheels? Can the rest of the field even challenge? All these questions and more might or might not be answered within the next 35 minutes. But we're about to find out how true that prophecy is. With the board going sideways, the revs going up, and in 5 to 10 seconds, the gate will be down at Millville. Land rush again, and it's Devin Ryan again. Devin Ryan reaches up there, grabs that hole shot. 2 for 2 on the day. Look at Dickerson and Haley. Second and third. Tyler Lang is right up at the front. Look at Dickerson already trying to go for the lead. Cross jump from Devin Ryan, and it takes them both down. And woo! Look at somebody sent it into the sand. That was Alex Cunningham going for the lead. And so Haley now out front, and nobody even close to challenge as they're all mixed together in the whoops. And it is utter chaos at Millville with Haley leading. Ivan Medina sits in second. We've got Matthias Janis, Tyler Lang right up here as well. Jack Gatlin, Ben Seberg with a good start, so maybe Seberg can run up front. Devin Ryan, after his cross jump, ends up right here mixed up with all of these guys and actually jumps over a crashing Jack Gatlin. Fortunately, did not get caught up in that. So here is Klein, White, Hollenbeck, and then Dickerson. So Dickerson looked as though he was going to go for the race lead on Devin Ryan. And it was more the way that the track hooked Ryan across the track than an intentional cross jump or anything. Either way, took both of them down right in front of Jack Haley, who becomes the huge benefactor of that situation. And with it, he's going to try to take this lead and run off to a 1-1 performance at Millville if he can. Further extending his championship lead, probably over 100 points as they run. Which means if he can hold that gap, he would have the opportunity to wrap up the championship 2 rounds early, maybe even 3 rounds. He would have to be 150 points clear after next week at Washougal to wrap up the title 3 rounds early. But the way things have gone for Haley this year, that is pretty much not out of the question. Battles ensuing behind him, though. Second place is up for grabs. Tyler Lang has it. Matthias Janis and Ben Seberg want it, including Craig Leake, and I think Shawn Klein also right there at the back as Seberg's trying to go around the outside of Janis, who shuts the door at the bottom of the hill. And a freight train of riders coming up over the finish line jump. So the land rush is on. Look at this battle for third. Honestly, Craig Leake almost went down as Ben Seberg makes the pass on Matthias Janis. Craig Leake was able to stay up, though. Somehow kept his face from planting into the ground, and as I say that, now he goes down. Shawn Klein squeaks on through, and we saw Dickerson, Phil Bull, and Devin Ryan all going on through as well. So it's relaxed 1-2. Ben Seberg sits in third. Matthias Janis right behind him, fourth. Seberg still receiving pressure here from Janice. And they throw a little bit of dualies action on the catapult, which I always love to see, of course. Janice showed him a wheel, but Seberg fighting back around the outside holds on to it. Janice maybe gets a drive up the inside on Mount Martin and sticks it to Seberg, who actually came across the track very nicely and still has a shot in it coming down the hill. Look, he's going to send it down the inside. Does he get that SR75 World Team Suzuki stopped? He does, and gets a pass completed on Tyler Lang, who is off the track. So Seberg up to second, Lang back to third. Janice right there still in fourth, and nobody even in the same zip code of Jack Haley, who 5 minutes into this moto has already tipped the waitress. He is checked out. Seberg's going to try to run him down. Seberg definitely had the pace of the first moto. But will he have the pace this time around? How about Shawn Klein? This is a good turnaround ride for him after an abysmal 13th place finish in the first moto. And wow. Isaiah Dickerson is in fourth. So Isaiah Dickerson, who went down, we saw with Devin Ryan 3 corners into the first lap of the race out front. Actually, in this very section here, got cross-jumped on this tabletop. Almost going to get cross-jumped again there by Shawn Klein. Suddenly, Dickerson up to fourth, and we're still 25 minutes away, 30 minutes nearly, from the conclusion of this race. So there's still a lot to play here. Dickerson and Seberg both could potentially make this thing interesting, although Isaiah Dickerson with some horrific internet problems suddenly, and I don't want to speculate, but that's never a good sign to see happening in the middle of a moto like that. It is pretty rare to see these days guys have really huge frame drops unless something very specific is happening to them, but again, don't want to speculate. So here's Haley heading up Mount Martin. American flag in the background, so majestic. If the MX Simulator Nations is ran this year, which I assume it probably will be, having it at Redbud is pretty easy. They just take the same track. But if it is ran this year, I'd have to imagine Haley would make that team. And if he doesn't, that would be mind blown. Nobody even close to Haley, though. Seberg now maybe within one straightaway's distance of him, but not really much he can do unless there's a crash to be had from your race leader. And we've suddenly lost Isaiah Dickerson again, so Lang, Devin Ryan, Matthias Janus, Phil Bull, Craig Leak, all ahead of Dickerson. So not good news for the MV Films number 65 rider, who very likely could have won that first moto, and probably in his mind right now feels like he should be leading the second moto. He's got a freight train of riders to get through, including Shawn Klein, who just got up from a crash, and suddenly they're right behind Ben Seberg as they go through lap traffic already. Ben Seberg, Phil Bull, Shawn Klein, Matthias Janus, Craig Leak, and Dickerson way in the background as Janus goes down. But look at this absolute freight train with Devin Ryan right behind his teammate Tyler Lang. It's a Relaxatire 1-2-3 right now at Millville. And while this battle for second goes on, they've got to be wary behind them of Phil Bull, Ben Seberg, Shawn Klein, Craig Leak, all of them coming along together here, and Klein trying to throw it down the inside of Seberg, who in turn is trying to get Phil Bull. Seberg again looking down the inside of Phil Bull. This time he will make it happen. Stick the inside rut and open up a small cushion on Phil Bull as they head towards the catapult. Craig Leake trying to pull alongside of Klein around the outside. Lost a little bit of drive up the hill. All four of these guys in the air at the same time with Dickerson really close behind. Seberg absolutely throwing it down the hill and was able to corral it together to not go out of the inside rut at the bottom. And change for second maybe happening here. Tyler Lang. Devin Ryan battling it out. Lang with a small bobble. And looks like they may go side by side down the hill. Almost. Devin Ryan funnels back in. Just an absolute freight train of riders all mixed together. Looks like Dickerson has gotten ahead of Craig Leake in the background as Devin Ryan's going to have an inside move on his teammate. They're still going to be side by side though, but Ryan shuts the door on his teammate Tyler Lang. Does Lang fight back? He goes wide. Devin Ryan stays low. So Devin Ryan up to second, Lang back to third. Shawn Klein is now up to fourth, so Ben Seberg has gone down somewhere. Phil Bull, Isaiah Dickerson is ahead of Craig Leake, as mentioned. And then Ben Seberg, who was in fourth, trying to run down second and third. Down he went. Man, Haley has got a sizable lead, and while we're still in the early runnings of this one, let's do a little bit of a run through the field. Head-on view of the second set of the Millville Sand Whoops, and that just gives you an idea of Haley's lead already. He is gone as Devin Ryan is gone in the background. He just went down hard at the end of the rollers. So that's going to promote Tyler Lang up to second. Here he comes on the 71. Third place is Shawn Klein on the 10. Fourth, Phil Bull on the 40. Fifth, Isaiah Dickerson on the 65. Sixth of Craig Leake on the 11. Seventh, 34 of Devin Ryan. Eighth, the 55 of Ben Seberg. And ninth place should be coming out of this corner here. It is the 742 of Garrett Hollenbeck. He's bringing with him Walter Gebhardt and Matthias Janis. Gebhardt on the 31, Janis on the 41. Trent Shepard will be up next. He's bringing Ash Deering with him. Our versus PC one to watch is right here. Ash Deering coming through on the 930. The 891 of Colby Eaglin, 256 of Gaskew. I think that was the 97 of Harry White, and the 259 of Alanis Solis. As they continue on, here comes, this looks as though it's Jake Warden maybe. And it is Jake Warden ahead of Dylan Gatlin, Daniel Batchlett, who's in 20th, Hunter Porch, and Tony Spinelli, 21st and 22nd. And next up, I think this is Dale Mullins, and he has a TMFR guy right behind him. That is Dale Mullins, and that is also Jack Gatlin going through. This is Ivan Medina. Yes, it is Ivan Medina. And Jacob Hubbard. And we are almost all the way through the field here. There is Jack Haley in the background, so he's coming. Jacob Hubbard in 26th. Looks to be the last runner on the lead lap. Alex Cunningham, James Cohen, and Matt Cromie are all a lap down, getting reports that Matt Cromie is actually out of this moto. But who is in this moto is your race leader, Jack Haley, and he is out of here. 22-second lead on his teammate Tyler Lang. Shawn Klein has crawled his way into third, as we mentioned. Devin Ryan crashed his way back to fourth. Craig Leake now right behind him in fifth. Phil Bull sixth. Seberg seventh. And Dickerson has dropped all the way to the 8th spot, so it's more chaos going on. Brian Haskell, two-time MX Simulator Supercross champion, dropping by in chat, kind of creeping me out, saying I sound so clear. It sounds like he's in my apartment, which isn't that hard to do because he lives about 4 doors down from me. Nothing really doing between this battle up front anymore, although here we go. Devin Ryan's going to get around Craig Leak. Maybe. Oh, contact! Unfortunately, they both avoid front end lock at the top of the hill, which would not have been fun. But Ryan able to squeak by Craig Leak. Phil Bull is going to try to close up behind them. Go back and see Ben Seberg, Isaiah Dickerson. Walter Gebhardt is going to try to creep his way into the battle. He's going to bring Garrett Hollenbeck and Matthias Janis with him. Versus PC One Watch, Ash Deering is all alone on the downhill. I'm trying to avoid my mouth getting all dry by drinking a Pacifico, which is probably making my mouth drier. But in turn, it's making me hiccup. This is not a good sign. Go back, find a battle between Jarrett Gaskew and Colby Eagland. This is your battle for 16th. You're right behind Alana Solis. So this has kind of quickly turned into a 3-rider battle as we see Eagland actually trying to form a new inside line there. Curious to see with the 450 guys if lines are going to be that much different. New rider down, that is Lapper, it appears. Maybe that is the aforementioned Matt Cromie going around trying to take leaders out. Hopefully it's not Mr. Cromie. I have your Snapchat. I know where you live. And there is nothing going on with this top group. They were so close together at one point, they've all separated. Isaiah Dickerson on Craig Leak looks to be the best battle going on inside of the top 10 right now. We'll go on board with Dickerson, see how he attacks the track currently. 226.7, so it looks like the pace is actually up a little bit this moto. Maybe the track wearing in a little bit nicer. Dickerson pulls alongside Craig Leak, but can't quite make the move there. Good onboard action as Leak throws it down. Dickerson's going to try to move alongside, gives him a nudge. And has to go back to work, slides out of that corner. He's going to hop over some bales, take out an SYS banner. Now that's some good marketing if I've ever seen it. Trying everything he can to keep Craig Leak close. A couple mistakes definitely cost him there at the end on what was seemingly a pretty good lap time. Oh man, there is nothing going on throughout the field. Here's Eagland still trying to hound Solis. And again, I believe this is for 15th. Yeah, 15th spot up for grabs. They shoot back up the hill. Well, Eaglin's keeping Solace close. But so far, unlike Gasquet ahead of him, he has not been able to do anything with the TM FR rider. Gasquet actually made a mistake ahead of these guys. Now Eagland is really closed up behind Solace, so here we go. Three-way battle as they enter the rollers, and Solace trying to take a completely different line, gets no speed. Meanwhile, huge crash in the background for Eagland, who nearly 720'd out of it, but unfortunately not able to pull it all the way around. How about Solace shooting down the inside of Gasquet, but that did not work as he is off the bike. There goes his teammate Harry White, and here comes Colby Eagland again, but Eagland will not get there. Jacob Warden behind them. Hunter Porch is down in the corner with, yeah, that looks like it might be a lapper as well, Daniel Batchlett, and that lapper is indeed Matt Cromie. Take a look at Matt Cromie and see if he's really doing any shifty things here. Oh, well, he's going around the track here. Just electing to skip a large portion of the track and goes down at the top of the hill. He is behind two guys who have elected to call it an evening. So very clearly was on the side of the track for a long time. Here comes Tony Spinelli with Matt Cromie still sitting in the corner up here. And now Cromie gets going after him. Dale Mullins has Jack Gatland applying some pressure. Look at Gatland trying to pull alongside Mullins. Mullins shutting the door all the way up the hill. So Gatland unable to make the pass. Nice little battle between these two. Hunter Porch has just gotten around Jake Warden actually and is right behind Daniel Batchlett. So Warden was just getting up from a small crash. Suddenly these three are all mixed together. Oh, big mistake. Batchlett almost yard sailed down the hill before the finish line jump. Could have been nasty. Instead, this battle continues to ensue. Oh, and Porch is almost through the front door of the bike as well. Go on board with Warden here. All three of these guys in points. So there's a... It's not just pride on the line. There's actually a couple points to be paid out back here. Split lines here as Hunter Porch goes down the inside. He is still just trying to find a way around Batchlett. Ah, Batchlett finally goes down. Warden's going to try to go inside. Is that going to work? Somehow he got a great drive out of the inside despite Porch going outside and just not able to hold it on. Warden's actually going to lose both spots, all just because he got caught on a little tough block right there at the end. All three in the air over the catapult at the same time. Great little battle back here. Action for 18th spot on the track. Right now, it's pretty much been the best battle to watch as Dickerson has gone down again. And there is still nobody even close to Jack Haley in a league, in a world of his own. Looking to go 1-1 on the day. Fortunately for Shawn Klein's sake, sitting second in the championship standings, he will perhaps finish second in this moto to salvage a very rough 13-2 day, but lose a large sum of points in that process. Man, this is suddenly heated up back here. Tyler Lang, well, what happened? Devin Ryan looks like he had some sort of an issue, maybe a controller disconnected, because he came to almost a dead stop in that corner. Finally got going, and he never fell off the bike or anything. Oh, leak. Huge mistake. That's going to hamper the drive of Devin Ryan all the way up the hill. They're both trying to get a better drive as Leak somehow made it to the downside of that uphill triple with maybe one of the naughtiest scrubs I've seen a 250 rider throw on that jump all night.
Big bar. Airbound.
Look at Chris Kiefer out here for the Evergood machine. Devin Ryan is definitely keeping Craig Leak close. Meanwhile, Craig Leak looks like he wants to go after Tyler Lang. Oh, and Leak almost goes down, has to jump back in front of Devin Ryan, who looks like he's getting tired of it, gets into the back of Leak, and Seberg has nowhere to go, plows over Devin Ryan and goes down. So a frustrating situation for Devin Ryan turned into a rather poor pass attempt and took him and Ben Seberg down. Unfortunate circumstance there for Seberg. Oh, meanwhile, Klein was down, so Phil Bull's going to go into second. Phil Bull up into second. We saw him win the first moto last week at Redbud. My real life and my sim brain are intermingling. I forgot that we did race a sim Redbud race last week, despite there being an off week in motocross. So Phil Bull holding down the 2 ride. Meanwhile, Tyler Lang has crept his way into discussion here. He is right behind Shawn Klein and looking to make a move into third. Pulls almost alongside as they go up and over the little doghouse up on the inside of the corner there, and he is right behind Klein. 3.5 minutes and 2 laps to go. Oh, Lang. Oh, no. Big mistake, loses a bunch of time, and they had actually just gotten around Phil Bull. Lang just sending it up the uphill triples, so Klein goes back into second spot for the time being. Phil Bull back to third. Lang still right here in fourth. Oh, Lang getting a kick down the hill. Oh, Devin Ryan has made his way back around Craig Leak. It's been an up and down day for Devin Ryan, who always seems to find his way out to the front of the field at the end of these motos. But he actually had a good start this second moto. Unfortunate contact there early with Dickerson. Kind of faultless, I should say. Definitely a more cross-jump side on Ryan's part, but the way that that line forms, can't fault him for the line he took. Lang's going back after Phil Bull. So this battle here for third, far from over. Lang wants to go after the number 40 Team Volcom rider, Phil Bull. Into the whoops. Pressure is on. Phil Bull trying to hold on to third. Tyler Lang wants it away from him, and he seems to be carrying a little bit more momentum through these sand rollers. Oh, Lang sending it over the inside of that. Although he is actually skipping a timing gate when he does that, so that could come back to haunt him if he's able to get around Phil Bull. And actually, we've lost Shawn Klein, so Klein went down again, which means this battle is suddenly your battle for second. And we'll have to see. I think Jack Haley might make it back to the line this time before 30 minutes is up. It'll be close, but I think he's got it, actually. A couple corners to go and still 25 seconds on the clock. So yeah, this total race time for Haley has been faster. He's definitely upped the pace. And with about 15 seconds remaining on the clock, Jack Haley comes over the line. So 3 laps to go at Millville. It's going to be the one of the longer races, going 1 lap extra. So that allows some more shenanigans to go on behind him as Phil Bull and Tyler Lang continue to dispute second. Shawn Klein is kind of all alone now in 4th. Devin Ryan up to 5th. Craig Leake has Walter Gebhardt closing in on him, so Gebhardt definitely has slowly turned this into a positive moto, just like he did in the first one. Behind them,
There's got to wait a long time before a second comes by.
Behind Gebhardt, Isaiah Dickerson is kicking himself, wondering what could have been today. A first moto win just slipping through his grasps, and then a great start in the second moto, attempting to take the lead. It all went awry. Now he sits in 8th, and I don't think a 2.8 performance is what he had hoped for, qualifying second fastest and running up at the front in both motos here. Oh, Craig Leake goes down, and he takes Gebhardt with him, who looked like he was so carefully trying to avoid him. So there is a couple freebies for Dickerson, who's going to move up to 6th, as it were.
Oh, Tyler Lang really is jumping over that doghouse.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't realized how bad of cuts he's going to get from that. Definitely going after Phil Bull. Lang just giving her everything she can handle up here. White flag, or I'm sorry, 2-lap board now out for Jack Haley as he crosses the line. And Phil Bull is off the track. So Tyler Lang is going to close up right behind him. The battle for second is on here at Millville. Who wants it? Onboard perspective with Tyler Lang gives you an idea of where the track has broken down tonight thus far. Definitely pretty one-lined in the corners, but the straightaways actually, it's fanned out quite a bit. You can see lines developing all over the track on the straightaways as Lang's looking to go inside of Phil Bull. Thinks better of it. Two-lap board out, and it is all to play here for second. And Lang just right on that rear fender of Phil Bull, making sure he knows somebody's here, and that somebody wants to make the pass happen. Again, we'll keep an eye on Lang perhaps getting cuts after the moto for his hopping over the inside banner as he looks down the inside in the rollers, and he's going to hit the deck. So tried to change up his line, and it bit him. And bit him hard. Klein is just going to go through to make the pass here. But the bigger news is Phil Bull has no pressure from behind now. So we'll see if he maybe just tries to cruise this one in for a second, knowing he has the gap to do so. Battle for third continues though as Tyler Lang is going to try to make the pass on Klein. Here's his patented outside to inside technique, almost alongside. That was nearly contact. Up over the catapult, both of them. Nice little whipper tail. Lang getting it further out there. I like to see it. Klein changing up his lines as well, staying on the insides, protecting, making Lang work for it and try different lines himself as he uses an outside line here, which we haven't seen many people use in this 250 class, but it looked like it worked. Oh, and he comes up short on that triple, but somehow, some way saves that crash from happening. That was very close. White flag is out, by the way. Race leader Jack Haley checking in.
Oh, Klein goes down to my
Klein. Come on, Lang hits him and almost went down himself, getting high-centered on that rut. So there goes Devin Ryan, and Gebhardt won't get to Klein in time. Dickerson is down, and he's down at a very poor spot, although Craig Leak did not take advantage of it and had us a terrible run up the hill as Dickerson's going to go down again at the top of the hill. Frustration setting in. Isaiah Dickerson having his issues in this second moto. So he's going to try to go back after Craig Leak, see if he can get around him. No pressure out front though. Jack Haley has made it look easy. Unfortunately, when he has motos like this, or when anybody has motos like this, you don't give them enough TV time because they're never in a battle. But give credit where credit's due. Jack Haley has risen to the occasion here at Millville. A tough, tough battle with Dickerson in the first moto. Survives to take the victory. And looking to pick up a 1-1 performance today, further extending his championship lead. It will be Haley's first 1-1 since round 2 at Glen Helen, actually. So Haley started the season perfect, going 4 for 4, and has traded moto wins at every round since, essentially. But nobody was touching him in the second moto. And despite a valiant effort from Dickerson in the first moto, it was still Haley that prevailed there as well. A dominating performance at Millville, capped off with a 1-1 victory. Jack Haley has won the Millville National. And double front flips to boot. Phil Bowl is in second. Devin Ryan has moved up to third. Shawn Klein is in fourth. Again with the Relax Attire team, 3 out of the top 5 here. Oh, maybe not. Lang loops out halfway up the hill. And oh, that is a terrible, terrible spot to try to get going. Fortunately, he has some time. But oh, what a drag up to the top of the hill. Just gets it over as Craig Leak and Walter Gebhardt are at each other's throats coming up to the hill here. Oh, and Leak is going to go down. I don't know if Dickerson will get there, though. I think Leak should be fine to get going ahead of him. Meanwhile, Tyler Lang continues to have issues as Gebhardt has to take evasive maneuvers to avoid him. Second place belongs to Phil Bull, who is already up and over the line. Ended up 51 seconds behind Jack Haley, who also set the fastest lap of the race at 2:24.6 on the 14th lap of the race. Incredible stuff. Shawn Klein will come home, take a third out of this one, but a 13.3 performance is probably going to drop him over 100 points behind in the championship, which is pretty much all but written off at this point to be Jack Haley's. Devin Ryan ends up with a 4th and doesn't seem to be too happy with it as he disconnects immediately. Walter Gebhardt holds on for 5th as Lang goes down. Leak is also down, so here comes Matthias Janis. Janis is not going to make any passes happen. Tyler Lang comes across in 6th. Craig Leak looks like he will wrap up 7th, and he does. Matthias Janis gonna get an 8th here. Isaiah Dickerson. Gotta imagine this is gonna feel like a disappointing second moto for him. But regardless, a 2.9 performance on the day should put him top 5 overall. But again, just like Devin Ryan, immediate disconnect, so that usually is a sign of frustration. Garrett Haldenbeck is gonna finish this one in 10th. And a great ride for him to put 4 Relaxatire Suzukis inside of the top 10 in this moto. Incredible as he rounds it off, and that's going to do it in this moto as Hallenbeck comes across the line. We had Deering, Solis, Shepard, Gaskew, Porch, Warden. So actually Eaglin, then Warden, Mullins, Bachelet, and Gatlin rounds out the top 20. Any cuts ahead of that? Nope. Jack Haley goes 1-1 and dominates here at Millville to extend his championship lead. And it's time for Nathan Zaworski to wake up. 450s are coming up next, but I thank you guys for tuning in to the 250 stream of round number 8 of the Race Tech Nationals here from Millville. Don't touch that URL bar. We'll be right back on the other side of this quick break with the 450 motos. We'll see you guys then.